Welcome to episode 77, Decoding the Dress Code. 'Tis the season for special events, and your inbox is probably brimming with invitations to weddings, parties, reunions, dinners, and so much more. One question that can strike panic in most women's hearts is, what am I going to wear? In this episode, we'll discuss 10 of the most popular dress codes for weddings and other special events, what dressy casual really means, the difference between black tie and white tie, the key to knowing what it means to come as you are, and what to do if you're just not sure what to wear. But first, color is a powerful tool and the first thing people notice about you, but wearing the right colors can be overwhelming and confusing. If you're ready to wear color with confidence, I would love to be your guide. I'm launching my brand new Color Confidence package, and I can work with you one-on-one if you're in the Raleigh, North Carolina area, or we can work virtually anywhere in the world. I'm looking for a few women who are ready to learn more about color and take their color game to new heights. I'm offering this great package at an introductory price for just half off, but I only have a few slots available. If you're ready to find out what your best colors are through color analysis, create your fabulous 5-color capsule, discover your signature colors and what colors to wear this season, then click the link in the bio and let's get started. I look forward to helping you wear color with confidence. Welcome to Style by Mary Michelle, a podcast designed to empower you through personal style. I'm your host, Mary Michelle Nidifer, a master style coach, founder of Style Finder Boutique, and creator of the Style Finder ID system. I'm here to help you know what to wear, how to wear it, and how to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. If you guys are watching me on YouTube, you probably noticed that I got my hair cut again. I feel like my hair has been on this continual evolution, and it's been kind of a fun journey, but it's been interesting. And what I have come to realize is that at the age of 54, my hair is very different in texture than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, or more. And the things it used to do, it's kind of got a mind of its own right now. I don't know if any of you have noticed that, but I feel like the texture is different. And, I'm still coloring my hair, which I don't think I'm going to give that up anytime soon. I've talked about going gray, but I'm just not ready. And I'm kind of loving this new haircut. It's interesting because when I went to my hairstylist, I actually took a picture of me from a few years ago. And I said, this is what I want. And if you look at the picture and look at my hair, it looks very different. But I think a lot of it is because the texture has changed. So just kind of interesting as we evolve and, go along on our style journey, just a reminder that we're not the same person that we were a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And what worked for us then may not work for us now. So paying attention to who you are right now and what your needs are will really serve you in every way. Your body's changed, your hair's changed, your skin's changed, your lifestyle's changed, I'm sure. So just a little tip for being your best, beautiful self at every age and stage, right? That's what it's all about. Now, today we are talking about decoding the dress codes because you guys know, and I've mentioned this before, but 2022 is shaping up to be one of the biggest wedding years in history since sometime in the 1800s, which is quite a while. And I, for one, feel like I have heard of so many weddings going on. I know so many people who are getting married, who have kids getting married, who are going to weddings. And we have been stocking the boutique with all sorts of fabulous dresses, wraps, jewelry. We've got some great things coming in that are going to be perfect accessories for weddings. So it's complicated, but if you guys need help, we are here for you to help you know what to wear, to help you know how to put it together. It can be really, really tricky. And I know I've been to so many events over the years where even myself as a style coach, I think I'm just, I like to put myself together, but my style of dress is not real dressy. And sometimes when it comes to dressier events, I want to make sure I feel like myself. And so I remember years ago getting dressed for an event and just feeling like I was so out of myself, out of character, if you will. And I just didn't feel like me. And so some of the best advice I give to my clients is whatever you wear, make sure it feels more like you. Because the worst thing in the world is, especially if you are mother of the bride or mother of the groom, or even if you're just a guest, one of the worst things is to show up at an event in a dress that you deliberated over, that you spent time and effort and energy shopping for, putting together, and you just feel uncomfortable. In fact, I talked with a client the other day, and she was in from out of town, and she was telling me about this dress she wore to a special event. It was actually a formal event, and she had reached out to get my opinion on what she was going to wear. And she found several dresses, and so I gave her a little bit of feedback. But, my best feedback was wear what makes you feel more like you. And when I saw her the other day, she told me in great detail how beautiful the color was, how gorgeous it looked, but she did not feel good. And part of the reason was that the dress was of a thicker fabric. And she said it was a scuba fabric, like a heavier ponte knit, which can be super flattering and look gorgeous. However, if you are outside in the sweltering heat, that is not going to make you feel good. So when you're thinking about what to wear, I want you to take everything into account. Take the colors that work for you, take the weather, the setting, how you want to feel. Dress for how you want to feel and just start from there. And just take note. Do I need a hat? Do I need to wear sunscreen? Do I need a wrap? What is everything that you need to feel comfortable? Because at the end of the day, it's about how you feel and how you show up as a guest. You're not going to be kind or loving or excited to see people if you're baking in the hot sun, or if you're so uncomfortable because you can't breathe because your dress is too tight. You want to make sure you've got on a bra that's not poking you, you have on the right underpinnings that slim you out, that get rid of all the lumps, bumps, and bulges, and things that just help you to forget about it. Because why are you there? You're there to see those that you love, that you care about. You're there to celebrate a special day, and you want to be fully present. And the only way to do that is to wear something that makes you feel fabulous. So let's talk about what to wear and how to know what the dress code is. Now, dress codes can be very, very ambiguous. In fact, some people joke around that, there's one of the questions that strikes fear in the heart of many is, what am I going to wear? You get the wedding invitation and, the dress code at the bottom says cocktail attire or dressy casual, which can be even more ambiguous. Don't worry, we're going to talk about this because I want you to know, and I've done all my research, I've got some very good sources, and I want to share with you what to wear with guidelines. Now, I'm just going to give you a brief overview because it's a podcast, it's not visual, right? However, this is meant to be a guideline and just to kind of help you understand which direction to go in, and do I need knee length, floor length, things like that. So I'm just here to help you answer those basic fundamental questions. If you need further assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out. I am here for you. So first of all, you get the invitation. And if you haven't listened to my episode with Jacqueline Whitmore, she is an etiquette expert. You need to go listen to that. She gives some great advice on hosting a wedding, on being a guest at a wedding, especially during the time of COVID. So go listen to that episode. But what she shared with me, which I think is great, and I had never even thought about it, but what she shared is, first of all, when it comes to the dress code, you can tell so much by the tone of the invitation. How is the invitation delivered? If it's an Evite, probably going to be pretty casual. If it is a full formal invitation, complete with RSVP envelope, and it's got calligraphy and it's formally addressed, it's probably going to be dressier, much dressier. So you can really tell by the tone, by the paper that's used, by the appearance of the invitation. So start with that. But the other piece of advice she shared with me, and I think this is key, If you are ever not certain, reach out and call. It could be the bride, it could be the bride's mother. Ask. Do not hesitate to ask. Because when in doubt, that way you're going to show up being confident, feeling good about yourself, feeling good about your choices, instead of wondering. And sometimes just knowing what someone else is going to wear can give you an idea of here's what I should wear. And so if you call the mother of the bride and say, hey, what should I wear? And she shares, hey, here's what I'm wearing. It might give you some insight into what you might want to wear and how that can be appropriate. And it can help you feel more comfortable. If you know you've talked to somebody, showing up is going to leave a lot less to chance. So short of asking, though, here is our best guide to knowing what to wear. All right, so I'm sharing with you 10 dress codes. You know, it's so interesting. And these are really just targeted to weddings and special events. This doesn't even cover business casual and business attire. That's a whole other day, which we will get into. But I just wanted to really focus this in on what to wear to a wedding or special event, because this is it, ladies. This is the time of year. And, you know, along with weddings comes so many things: rehearsal dinners, showers, parties, celebrations, also anniversaries. I actually just went to a 50th anniversary party a couple weekends ago. Shout out to my Aunt Joyce and Uncle James. It's hard to believe they've been married for 50 years because we're not that old, right? Right. But it was a beautiful ceremony. The dress code, there wasn't really a dress code listed on the invitation. However, I knew where it was going to be. It was a restaurant that was in downtown Southern Pines, and the invitation was dressier. It was dressier. It was nice paper. It had some gold lettering on there, and it was dressier. It wasn't, well, I'm not going to get into what it wasn't, but it was dressier, but it was more dressy casual, which can be very, very ambiguous. In fact, in my research, I found that dressy casual is probably one of the most often used dress codes. However, it's probably one of the most misunderstood. So we're going to dive into that in a few minutes. But the first one I'm going to talk about, come as you are. I don't know that I've ever received an invitation with come as you are on it. However, some couples do ask their guests simply to show up as they are, just as what you're wearing today. And this might be appropriate for, let's say, a casual beach wedding or maybe a backyard wedding. I feel like I know a lot more people who are getting married for a second time or a third time or whatever, and they're just done with all the formality. They just want their loved ones to show up and be present for the ceremony, and they don't care what you wear. And there's going to be a barbecue or a pig picking or something afterwards. Yes, I'm Southern. So come as you are. Now, it's interesting. I actually just saw on Facebook yesterday that two folks I went to high school with got married, got hitched. And it was so funny the way he was talking about it. He's like, oh, I'm going to get up and go to a golf lesson. And then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. And then we're going to get married. And then we're going to watch the Carolina game. So kind of interesting. But it was just the two of them. And she did wear a dress, although you couldn't see it because she had a coat on over it. And then I think he had on a jacket and pants. It wasn't a suit, but it was a nice outfit. But they didn't have any guests that I could see. I think it was just the two of them. But that was definitely a come as you are kind of affair, in my opinion. So, but as simple as it sounds, come as you are might be very confusing because, well, some days I'm in my yoga pants if I'm working out, or some days I'm a little bit dressed up. So as you are, does that mean like, whatever you wear in that moment? So it can be a little confusing. But here's what I want you to think about. Take into account what the couple normally wears. How do they dress? Are they more jeans and a t-shirt kind of couple? Or are they a little bit dressier? What do they wear to work on a regular day? What do they wear on the weekends? So take into account what they would normally wear. And also think about the location and the time of day. Location, is it backyard? Is it beach? Definitely going to be a little bit more casual. If it's outdoors, probably a little bit more casual. But the other thing I want you to think about is, and this is true with all of the dress codes, know yourself as a guest. Know thyself, right? That is the best piece of advice. Because when you know, what am I going to feel good in if I'm not sure what the dress code is, and I show up trying to look a certain way that I think is going to fit inside this box, but it's not really me, there's a good chance I'm going to feel either underdressed or overdressed. But if I show up in something that makes me feel more like myself, that I feel like, yes, this outfit is me, I feel like $1,000,000, I'm not really going to care. And it's not that I'm not going to care, but if I get there and I realize, whoa, I'm way overdressed or I'm way underdressed, you know what? If I feel good, I can forget about it and I can be present and I can enjoy the day, socializing, celebrating, and just having fun. So be sure you're confident in your choices. And that can go a long way to helping you avoid feeling overdressed or underdressed. All right, number 2, concept or themed wedding. Now, I don't know that I've really been to that many concept or themed weddings. However, I have been to quite a few themed events, themed parties, and festive or concept themed weddings and events have actually become pretty popular. And so with that, the host is requesting you to dress in a certain way. Some of the common themes might be Gatsby style or vintage inspired. I haven't really seen a lot of those, but in all my research, everybody mentions that. So I'm throwing that out there. If you are invited to a Gatsby style wedding or event, let me know. I want to see your pictures because I love that period of dress. So, but one thing I want you to think about that I actually see quite a bit, white parties. I actually was invited to my very first white party. It was part of an event I went to, a conference that I went to, and I had a white party to go to. And I got a little bit stressed out because it pushed me outside my box. And I deliberated and deliberated because I knew, especially as a style coach, I wanted to show up wearing something that was very authentic to me, that made me feel comfortable and good so that I could network and connect with these other women who were there. I mean, honestly, I had never met any of them before in my life. And so I wanted to feel more like me. And I wasn't necessarily trying to impress anybody. I wanted to show up as the best version of myself while wearing white, which is, I don't normally wear white dresses or head to toe white. I love white. I love white shirts, but I don't normally wear just a white dress. So that was a little bit of a stretch for me, but I searched high and low. I've talked about my story, finding the perfect dress many, many times, but there was a lot of manifesting that was going on to find the ideal dress. And I ended up finding my ideal white dress at TJ Maxx for $29. And I love this dress. This is a dress I would have paid a lot more money for, but it was just meant to be. And it makes me feel beautiful. And now I'm like, oh, when's the next white party? Because I know what I'm going to wear. So, but find something that makes you feel more like you. If there is a white party, don't just throw on any old thing you can find. Find something that makes you feel great. And you know what? You will find an occasion to wear it again. Like this dress for me, I know I only paid $30 for it. I will wear that dress again. I will probably wear that dress multiple times. So I just, it's now spring. Hopefully I will have the occasion to wear it at least once or twice over this spring season. So I will look forward to it. And I'll make sure to post pictures. All right. Number 3, tropical or destination. Typically, a tropical wedding or destination wedding is you're going someplace tropical, right? So it's going to be hot and humid. You don't want to show up in a scuba dress. You don't want to show up in anything too fussy that's going to make you sweat. It's going to make you uncomfortable. The great thing about this is you can keep it simple. Now, this is not a come as you are kind of thing. However, it's pretty casual typically. Oftentimes a simple sundress with nice sandals or wedges can be appropriate. Or if you're on the beach, it might even be barefoot. So, and you may want to add a hat. If you know you're going to be outside, adding in a hat can be great. And I remember years ago, actually when Jim and I were first dating, before we were even married, we thought about getting married at this place in Wilmington called Shell Island. And it's just this resort. And I don't know why, because it's a second marriage for both of us. We didn't want to make too big of a fuss, but we thought, well, how cool would that be? Just to have all of our families come and do that. We ended up not getting married there, but it was so much fun. We spent 2 nights there, and we sat on our balcony both nights. We would get we actually would do like a little picnic on our balcony and have our wine. And we sat there and watched weddings. And it was so much fun to see what these people were wearing and just to see the whole ceremonies. We just loved that. And they were all very casual. I mean, granted, that was in Wilmington, North Carolina on the beach. So, I mean, I'm sure it was a destination. It wasn't super tropical though, although it was warm because it was in springtime, but it was so beautiful. And everybody just showed up in their simple sundresses, or I think the men wore shorts and some nice shirts, but it was a much more casual affair and was just very cool. So we ended up getting married in a church in Southern Pines that I grew up in, and we had our reception in Pinehurst, North Carolina at the Holly Inn, where my dad, who's no longer with us, where he used to work many years ago. So it was very special that, all my family's down there. So it was a lot of fun. All right, number 4, garden party. Now, oftentimes you see garden party themes more for things like an afternoon tea. Maybe it's a brunch, a bridal shower, a baby shower. Not that often for weddings, but garden parties can be very popular for all the events surrounding weddings. And for garden party themes, you want to think about simple dresses or skirts that are dressy, but not too overdone. Keep it simple. And one thing to think about is colors. I want you to think about the best colors for you. Typically, a pastel works better. If pastels aren't your color, though, wear a lighter color, maybe some paler colors, or just something that's not really vibrant. Neutrals could also be really pretty. Floral prints are great for garden parties. Ruffles, more feminine styles. And you want to avoid high heels, definitely in favor of a block heel, an espadrille, or a wedge, because you know why? If you're going to be walking on the grass, you don't want your heels to sink. I remember the first time that happened to me, I was mortified. And then I was walking through the yard and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? Just walk on my toes. So that was not a pleasant experience. And I definitely learned my lesson. Now, if you are going to be outside, you might want to wear a hat. So think about that, but think about what kind of hat works for you. You want a hat. Now, I used to design hats. I could do a whole podcast on hats. Maybe that I will in the future. When choosing a hat, you want to be sure that the scale of the brim is in line with your personal scale. If you're tall in stature like I am, rock a big brimmed hat. But if you're a little bit more petite, you do not want a hat that's going to wear you. So make sure it creates balance for you. Number 5. All right, dressy casual. Let's talk about it. Now, the majority of weddings, according to the Knot, are dressy casual. And that appears to be a very popular dress code. The attire tends to balance the line between comfortable and formal, which I love dressy casual. I think dressy casual is fabulous. I think a lot of people feel more comfortable, not just physically, but mentally, with dressy casual because it's not real stiff. They can be themselves. And you can express your style a little bit more freely with dressy casual, I think. But oftentimes, dressy casual is misunderstood because what's acceptable? What does this really mean? So let's talk about that. Nobody wants to show up to a wedding in a beach-ready maxi dress when you should probably be wearing a floor-length gown or a chic jumpsuit. So you definitely want to do your homework on this. But what exactly is dressy casual? Now, what the Knot has to say is that dressy casual is somewhere between formal and casual. Ooh, that's a big gray area, right? Formal and casual, ooh, there are so many options. And so I know that doesn't really clear things up, but think about a couple of things. The time of day really is going to be the determining factor. So for evening weddings, you can be a little bit more formal with a potential cocktail dress or something that's a little bit more put together. If the wedding takes place during the day, however, a lighter fabric dress or skirt is appropriate. When in doubt, think about the time of day. So typically evening weddings are dressier, they're more formal. Daytime weddings are not quite as formal. So that's a big, big gap. But this is where I'm going to go back to, when in doubt, wear something that makes you feel confident. Is it a little bit dressy? Is it a lot dressy? You get to decide. But this is where you want to dress. You want to wear something that is dressy, but dress to your comfort level. Don't put on something that's going to make you feel like somebody else. So, all right, number 6, semi-formal. I remember growing up when I was in high school and college, usually if there was a dance or a prom or something, it was semi-formal, right? So semi-formal, I think, is pretty common and pretty easy to understand what that means. But let's talk about that. So when dressing for a semi-formal wedding, you want to be sure to take into account, again, the time of day. That's going to make such a big difference. Evening weddings are best for darker, more formal colors, while a daytime event suggests lighter colors, lighter fabrics. So think about that. Darker evening can be darker colors, heavier fabrics, but we'll also think about, even if it is outdoors, in the evening it's a little cooler. So you could wear the ponte knit or the scuba knit and not burn up. But during the daytime, that's probably going to be a little bit more challenging. Here's what you want to think about: length. Length of your dress and skirt. Typically, your dresses and skirts should be below the knee. You could also wear an elegant pantsuit or a dressy jumpsuit. Now, let's talk about jumpsuits for a minute. Jumpsuits are now very acceptable for everything from, dressy to semi-formal to cocktail. We see a lot of really dressy jumpsuits. In fact, I have a dressy jumpsuit. I think it's a Halston or something. Love it. I've only worn it a couple of times, but I've worn it to dressier events and it feels just right. I feel a little bit more comfortable in it. And it's not as much. It just seems like it's a little bit understated. It's not quite as much as a big formal gown would be. So jumpsuits have come a long way. But the key with the jumpsuit is the length. I have a jumpsuit that is ankle length. I love it. It's super versatile, but it's not that dressy. I could wear it for semi-formal, but it would not be formal. So the length is the defining factor. All right, number 7, cocktail attire. I know we hear that a lot. That's fairly common, not as common as dressy casual, but cocktail attire is just above semi-formal. It's a step above. So we started out more casual. Now, as we go along, we're getting dressier and more formal. Just above semi-formal, yet not quite as formal as black tie optional. It's the perfect balance between elegant and comfortable. Kind of like dressy casual. That was a balance between comfortable and formal. This is a balance between comfortable and elegant. So slight differences, but this is where people get a little bit tripped up. So when in doubt, call your hostess. T-length, midi length, or knee length dresses are perfect for cocktail attire. Now, I haven't really talked about men's dress code, but I'm going to start injecting that because I think when it comes to the next few, menswear can really make a difference. And I know you ladies want to keep your husband straight, right? I'm always picking out Big Daddy's clothes and want to make sure that he's dressed appropriately as well. Men, for cocktail attire, men are required to wear a suit and tie, regardless of the setting. Classy and polished are the keys, and you want to avoid anything that's overdone. In fact, that's another theme that you want to think about is you don't want to show up and look like the rock star, right? Not at a wedding. If you're going to a wedding, let the bride take center stage. It's not your day. I remember going to a wedding years ago, and it was this big to-do in Atlanta, beautiful wedding, and the bride looked stunning. And her mother wanted to have her moment. And so the mother showed up in this gorgeous backless black lace dress. She did not want to be overshadowed. And sadly, she kind of overshadowed the bride, which I thought was disappointing, but it is what it is. But it was just a really good lesson in that, you know what, wear something more simple. Keep your fancier dresses for a different occasion. But if you're going to a wedding, let the bride be the showstopper. All right, number 8, formal or black tie optional. Formal and black tie are mostly interchangeable as far as women go, but with just a little bit of a difference. Look for fancy floor-length cocktail gowns, again, a dressy pantsuit or a dressy jumpsuit. Here's the one difference, though. If you must wear a dress that is above the ankle, it is more acceptable for black tie optional than it is for black tie. And so if it's formal or black tie optional or black tie, you could wear the same thing if it's floor length. Showing the ankles, that's the defining factor. Number 8, black tie, no ankles. No ankles, ladies. Formal floor-length gowns that do not reveal the ankles, or an elegant pantsuit or jumpsuit. Now for men, a black bow tie. There you go. They need the tux, they need the black bow tie, and they are going to look sharp. And then number 10, white tie. Now, I don't know that I've been to many white tie events in my life, but I do know that a man in a white tuxedo with tails, a white tie, and gloves, pretty elegant, I have to say. So for women, the good news is that your dress for white tie is pretty much the exact same as it is for black tie. The only difference is your man. So your man needs to wear tails with a white waistcoat or waistcoat and white bow tie with white or gray gloves. So this is the most formal, and really what I see is probably the least common. So, all right. So let's recap those. Number 1, come as you are. Number 2, concept, style, or themed. Number 3, tropical destination. Number 4, garden party. Number 5, dressy casual. Number 6, semi-formal. Number 7, cocktail attire. Number 8, formal or black tie optional. Number 9, black tie. And number 10, white tie. Now, ladies, a couple of takeaways I want you to think about. The key factors in all of these seem to be the time of day and the dress length. So I want you to think about that. Daytime, typically less dressy, not always, depends on the dress code. But think about the time of day. Time of day, you can wear lighter colors, lighter fabrics. Nighttime, evening events, darker colors, darker fabrics. So let that help dictate what you wear. But also keep in mind your length, your dress length. That's key. And that can be even just a couple of inches can mean the difference between black tie and cocktail. Now, I hope these have been really helpful for you. I encourage you, if you are in doubt about anything, call your hostess, do your own research. This is meant to be just a guide to really point you in the right direction. Now, I encourage you to wear something that makes you feel amazing. Whatever you end up wearing, I want it to make you feel like $1,000,000, even if you only paid $29 for it. So you are so beautiful. I want you to show up at your event looking fantastic, feeling beautiful, and really being able to enjoy the day. So be sure you wear something confident and something that makes you feel more like you. All right, friends, I will see you on the next episode.
Are you ready for the freedom to feel fabulous? Teal Box is a done-for-you style solution that offers curated looks sent directly to your doorstep. We start with a virtual style session where we get to know you and what your needs are. From there, our Style Finder stylists personally curate a lookbook of the latest arrivals from Style Finder Boutique. You purchase only what you want, and then it's delivered right to you. The styling fee is fully refundable with your purchase, making it like having your very own personal stylist without the stylist fee. Book your complimentary consultation at shopstylefinder.com and get ready to love what you wear. Thanks for tuning in to Style by Mary Michelle, where women come to get dressed in 7 minutes or less. If you enjoyed this podcast, I invite you to leave me a 5-star review on iTunes or wherever you're listening. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at Style by Mary Michelle and shop our boutique at shopstylefinder.com for the best in upscale casual apparel. Better yet, if you're in the Raleigh area, come see us. We're located in the North Hills Shopping Center, the premier shopping district in Midtown Raleigh. For details and links mentioned in this episode, be sure to see the show notes. Have a beautiful week.